Hiya, welcome back. So we're on mute, but
welcome back to the Leeds lobby. It's good to be back.
Welcome back. It's been I think we haven't been on in a little bit. We made a video. We haven't been on in a few days. We made the Brighton preview and then obviously the Barnsley review, and then I've been at my own Ponty with my grandma, and but we are back.
It's been a little bit of a torrid week. I think in terms of how we came out of the Chelsea game, all expecting that. Well, some of us were expecting Leeds United to fly into the game against Brighton and that we would win that. And obviously, we've not performed quite as well as we would have hoped against Brighton, and we'll get into that shortly. And also, we're going to look at the Everton game. We're going to have a chat about what we expect our performance to be like against Everton. Good to see you striking Blazer. Good, we're doing good. Obviously, bitterly disappointed at the weekend not to at least come away with a point, although I don't think we deserved it.
I think we had spouts where we were playing well, like at the end of the second half. Obviously, that's when we normally start picking it up when we need a point. But
before we get into the main body of the content, before we start looking at the game at the weekend and also the game coming up tomorrow evening. Let's just make sure everybody's, obviously the genuine thing, making sure everybody's subscribed and also making sure everybody's hit that like button because it really helps us on the algorithm. And we'll get into the main nuts of the content. So Dan's just preparing, obviously, so we can put some of the comments up on the screen. What did we actually think of the performance at the weekend, Dan? What was your takeaway from it?
I think it was sort of a reality check, really, obviously. We were never going to go invincible. We were always going to lose some games. And I think that sort of gave us the first taste of defeat. But I think that we played abysmal, to be fair. Rodrigo was terrible. Rasmus needs to be dropped for the Everton game, in my opinion. I think we need to give Drame a chance. And Aylan's back in training, so he could make an appearance as a substitute. It was a funny one, but I don't think anyone particularly had a really good game apart from Aaronson, really.
Yeah, Datar, Rodrigo, we seem to have almost got the old Rodrigo back, which is a little bit concerning. I think what's more concerning is if we've got the old Rodrigo back and the board haven't taken notice and we don't go in for a striker. We've only got a couple of days to go now. Unless Victor Orta comes out with some Houdini kind of announcement. It's
going to be Hwang or Brighton Diaz on deadline day.
And I think that's all dependent on the movement in the market that Wolves make first for people that they've got lined up. Gary Keys has put, I think, the 9 changes last midweek took the rhythm out of the squad.
I don't think Wolves need Hwang anymore. Obviously, they've got Gedesh, they've got Pedence, Neto, Jimenez. They've obviously Trinco's gone, but they've got Chiquinho back from loan. They've got Wolves have adequate players in that position. I genuinely don't think he's going to get minutes for them. So I think that it would be good of him to come here, and I think Wolves wouldn't be too opposed to it.
Striking Blazer, Aaronson is our best player as of right now. We are too reliant on home fans from what we have seen against Brighton. Look, I think if we go through the squad at the weekend, what I will say is I think that side wasn't won necessarily by individual skill, because I think that in the final third, in terms of putting the ball actually in the net, they were woeful. They had plenty of chances to actually score. And to be fair, we had our fair share. Sinisterra could quite easily have got on the team sheet. What is really noticeable is if you look at the XG of the two sides, I think Brighton had an XG of 1.94. We had an XG of 1.81. So there was an expected goal in terms of the chances that we created. So there wasn't that much of a difference between the sides. I think Freddie Mac's put in that they were trying too hard to get Rodrigo a goal. Yeah, that's quite a possibility. But there was an occasion, particularly at the near post, where I think Rodrigo shot where he would have been better advised to play across goal. Aaronson cut back and Rodrigo just wasn't there. He wasn't making the runs to the front post. In corner ball situations like he has been. He wasn't necessarily taking risks. His decision making looked all out of kilter. Like what we got.
What I did notice about the press, which was evident in the Chelsea game, is that Aaronson sort of pressing and chasing the ball as Bamford would do if he was fit. And what's happening is Aaronson's pressing whoever's on the ball. And then Rodrigo, Harrison, and Rocker and Adams are all spreading out to block any passes they can make. so that they have to clear it, and we end up with the ball. Obviously, that's what he did against Mendy, where Mendy just couldn't pass because Harrison and Rodrigo were marking his options. So, and it worked. It worked better against Chelsea. But Aaronson's really similar to Foden, which I've said before when we signed him. I said that I know this about him when we signed him. He's really similar to Foden in the way that he pushes up the pitch and doesn't just stay behind the striker. He goes ahead of the striker and gets involved in play up at the top of the pitch.
Yeah, and one thing I like about Aaronson is he seems to arrive late in the box. He seems to get himself into the 6-yard box, and as a centre attacking midfielder, he gets himself into positions to score. If you look at his XG, I think it's close to 1, if not over 1. That's for an individual player, which again is somebody that is likely to score on any given game.
Yeah.
One player I think that, although he didn't have as good a game as he did against Chelsea, that covered himself really in glory, apart from Meslier, because I think Meslier again was that he did make a mistake.
He saved us from a thrashing.
But he's stunning again. He's stunning. He's going to be so big for us this season. But one player that seems to be, even though when he has a bad game, he's still coming up with the ball when he looks like he's got no right to come up with the ball, is Aaronson.
He's so tricky, isn't he?
He's almost like the ball's attached to his foot, and a little bit of ticky-tacky, and he's out there and he's running towards goal. And you've got, I mean, goodness me, I think he's by far and away my new favourite Leeds player. I think if he stays at our club for any length of time, he's going to get a bunch of goals and a bunch of assists.
Someone's saying, will you start click over Roca? Striking blazer. That's a great profile picture you've got. I wouldn't. I think Click's seen off his days of starting games now, but I do think that he's a really, really solid option off the bench.
And I think it gives you something a little bit different to Roca in terms of his movement.
He's more of an attacking player than Roca.
And as such, he's a good option off the bench, and he is somebody that seems to be. Jesse Marsch seems to have introduced him to a few games. He had an impact again on Saturday.
Yeah.
He seems to introduce him to a game at the right point, and he is somebody that changes the flow of the game in that middle of the park, which is important for any team to have off the bench.
We've got, I agree. Joel B saying, wonder if Gordon's going to be playing. I don't think he is, fella. I genuinely don't think that. Obviously, now that he's got his heart set on Chelsea, I don't think that he's going to be there. Just quickly, we got the ballot back today, and me and my dad are off to the Forest game. So put in the comments if you're going to the Forest game.
Yeah, a little bit of a conversation about that, about the ballot and about the new system. I mean, obviously, the new system of getting tickets has been widely criticised on Twitter by many players, by many fans. I think what's been really quite annoying is that we've entered the ballot for the Forest game. We didn't get tickets. I don't think we're quite sussed that we've got to get on there at 12:30 rather than quarter to 1 in order to get on for tickets. So we didn't get in the queue early enough.
Why have we got a Bournemouth fan in the
obviously, Wolves won. I've got absolutely no idea.
Mm.
But we were in a situation where
9-0.
we went into the ballot. And then it's supposed to be in and around Friday, and we've had to wait until Monday afternoon to get an answer and even an announcement that the ballot's not been, any sort of contact from the club letting us know that we're still all waiting. And people are asking on Twitter, has anybody heard yet? Has anybody heard yet? And then we've obviously got the requisite email. But what's interesting is even now on the Monday, bearing in mind Everton is tomorrow at 7:00, you can actually still go on the well, you could earlier on today. I don't know if you still can. You can still get tickets for that game tomorrow, which is really interesting because what it actually means is if you persevere and you persist. I did hear about somebody getting Chelsea tickets right behind the goal on the day of the game.
Yeah.
So persist.
I think we're sitting in the Cop for the Forest game, the Dom Revy stand.
We might be at the end of this season thinking that new system's actually quite good.
I think it is. I think it's going to give people who don't get to go to many games, like me and my dad, more chance. Welcome, Fat Frank. I don't think there's going to be much welcoming about it. You just put that out.
Yeah, Rodrigo is one player. Blaming him, expecting him to carry the team against Chelsea was the best thing since sliced bread. So fickle. I completely agree. And you know what? Rodrigo, I think the thing with the fans is, look, Rodrigo has had a run of form and he's had 2 or 3 runs of form. And then a lot of the time his decision making, it just looks like a discordant. It sounds like a discordant note. So imagine when you're in a situation where you're playing a symphony and you hear just one note that's out of kilter, that stands out like a sore thumb. And for me, Rodrigo is one player. His movement wasn't quite right. He was dropping too deep. He wasn't really a number 9.
When he needed to shoot, when he needed to pass, he was shooting.
And when he needed to shoot, he was passing.
No, I don't think he was passing when it was literally it was getting the ball at the halfway line and trying to shoot it, because I think you say that he's confident, he's got the confidence that he needs now because he's been scoring consistently, but that also means that he needs to keep his ego in check. Yeah, Striking Blaze is saying, yes, mate, would love to see some vlogs. Yeah, we might make a video while we're at Edinburgh, that might be good.
Shadow Fax is putting, we will win this match 2-0, that's prediction.
3-1 Leeds.
I think 2-0 is a fair prediction. I mean, we obviously predicted the previous game. We don't really want to talk too much about the Brighton game on account of the fact that it was, I mean, it wasn't even, I mean, can you imagine the poor Yanks of, American fans over there have taken Liverpool off, who won 9-0. And they've put Leeds on, expecting it to be like it was against Chelsea every week. It was a horrible game to watch.
My prediction is 3-1. We will go 1-0 up. They'll equalise, and then we'll score 2 in the second half.
Yeah,
just clip that up. Aaronson plays as an 8 in some games. So a box to box, kind of like a Declan Rice-esque player. I wouldn't try it, honestly. I think that he's playing best on the wing and behind the striker. I think if you're gonna turn one of the players into a box-to-box midfielder, then it's got to be Adams because of the distance that we're seeing him covering in the games.
What do you guys think? I mean, ultimately, what do you think?
Happy birthday, Ian. Happy birthday.
Before we go on to the Everton game, what do you guys? Let's see what some of your comments are like. What do you think contributed to us getting beat in that game against Brighton? I mean, obviously Takanraka, who's always in here. And good to have you back, buddy. Evening, guys. It's always going to be difficult against Brighton's back line, as Rodrigo does not hold the ball up well. Completely agree. What do you guys think was what caused us to have such a poor performance on the back of such a good performance against Chelsea?
And while you were putting your comments in, we've also got Tashin Raka saying, don't put Llorente on Mopé the troll. I completely agree. I think that this is a game where you probably want Charlie Creswell more of a calm head. At the back, because I think Mopé is going to have you
Cooper on instead of
yes. I think Mopé. The thing about Mopé is he's like Alioski in the way that he just gets you riled up. So I think Llorente, obviously with his short temper, he's gonna be in Llorente's head rent free. He's gonna have Llorente on strings, I feel like.
So before we move on to the Everton game, let's just go over each player's performance in terms of the Brighton game.
Okay.
Before we do that, please, if you've not already hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the like and the notification bell.
Okay.
And we will get into it. So Meslier, how do you think Meslier
performed? I'd give him an 8. There was nothing he could do about that finish from Gross. It was a gross finish.
I think that like Striking Blazer, sloppy play all round. I don't know what happened, but Rodrigo and Harrison were shaky, and Strike isn't a good long-term left back. I don't think he did. I think he did. I tell you what I think. I think Meslier, he had a forced mistake when he put the ball out for a throw. I think the mistakes at the back. I think, if I'm completely honest with you, I have heard various other outlets saying that it seemed that Brighton targeted Llorente as somebody that, under pressure, distributes the ball badly. Llorente. He distributes the ball badly.
He does.
And I think rather than going down the channels, which is probably what Leeds expected, what was actually happening is that they were hitting the ball over the top and targeting Llorente. And they seem to get a lot of joy out of that because, quite frankly, when one player that doesn't perform well under the pressure of somebody bearing down on them is Llorente, he'll pass the ball back or he'll pass the ball square. And invariably, he made 2 or 3 stray passes, which enabled them to get in on goals.
Sonny Marsch and Pascal Gross got a lot of pleasure out of Strauch. He made a few good tackles, but again, he's winning the ball, then he's putting out of play. He's not following up the tackle, and I think that Estupiñán really bullied Rasmus that game. You see that nutmeg on him. It was disgusting. I think Drame needs a run out for the Everton game.
Do you think if Ayling was fit for this game tomorrow, do you think Ayling would get a run out? Do you think he should get a run out?
I think he should. If Rasmus is playing poor, which none of us expected, we all expected Rasmus to come in and be like a Viking. But if Rasmus is taking time to adjust, then you put Ayling in there while he is. Yeah, I
mean, Firpo isn't any better than Strauch. I agree. I think Strauch is, overall in 4 games, he's acquitted himself very well.
Do you know who's better than both of them?
Who's that?
Charlie Taylor.
Well, we haven't signed him, have we? Though?
We'll see.
So here we go. So obviously Meslier, I will give him a 7. Although I think I'll give Meslier an 8. From our point of view, he was our best player. I think quite easily we could have been 3-0. We could have been 3.
He saved us from a thrashing.
Yeah. Well, he saved us. To be honest with you, I think to be fair, I think we probably had a goal in that game. We were probably deserved a goal.
Yeah,
I think Brighton on balance probably deserved 2.
Yeah.
And he's the one that kept us in the game.
Yeah.
So for me, Meslier has to be probably an 8 as well. Rasmus.
I give him a 5 generously.
And I think he did a little bit better. But what I did find is he was a little bit more hesitant in going forward. When you would find him crossing over in previous games with Aaronson, who's obviously been moving to centre, he's not playing the same passes. He's not playing the same attacking nature, but that doesn't mean he's particularly improved coming back. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Bowden Llewellyn has said, "Hey, look, you wouldn't have known how to pronounce that, would you, that Llewellyn? You've not come across many Welsh names, have you?
No.
In your young years. Hey, lads, love your content. Finally caught alive. Got to love Marsch for me. He gets it. And Christ, it's nice to hear press conferences in English again. Yeah, it is. And
shorter press conferences.
Before we move on to the centre halves, I will say, Graham Potter, full credit.
Graham Potter is a class manager.
Full credit. I don't mean just in terms of your tactics. I mean in terms of the grace with which you go into press conferences and you give the opposition full credit for the way in which they've played, whether they've won or lost. You are a gentleman. Jesse Marsch, much the same. I really love his press conferences. The points he made about the referee were brilliant because the referee was shocking from start to finish.
I have said that I would love to see Graham Potter manage England after Southgate, and I have put that out there because I think he's a class manager.
Yeah. So anyway, Rasmus, I would agree with that. I would say I would probably give him a 5.
Yeah.
What about the defensive partnership?
Llorente and Koch. Llorente gets a 5.5. He made a couple of solid tackles and skills, but he put the ball out loads, some stray passes, and Koch gets probably a 6, maybe.
I would pretty much agree with that. I mean, obviously, when it Koch that fell over really early doors.
No, that was Strauch.
Was it?
Really
early in the centre. I'm pretty sure it was Koch.
In the Rodrigo crossed the ball into Brighton's box.
No. Defensively, I think Koch slipped and fell over.
That looked like a slippy pitch. Rodrigo slipped over. Strauch slipped over. Koch slipped over. I'm pretty sure that Llorente was skidding about a bit as well. That looked like a watered down pitch.
Yeah, I think Koch slipped over really early doors, and I thought, we're going to have one of them afternoons because we just, I mean, like somebody's put there, who's put in a couple of those early yellow cards really affected the Leeds pressing. I agree.
Shocking.
I think the thing is, there's a couple of people made comments on various places that the Red Bull system of pressing and the way they press, sometimes particular referees will look at that and will be awarding yellow cards. Leeds go in and they go in aggressively and they actually look to tackle and they harry and they tackle. And sometimes, for some reason, referees don't like that. They'll give a yellow card for what is effectively, a fair challenge, but a tough challenge.
Yeah.
And I think Leeds are going to fall foul of a little bit of that this season. And the unfortunate thing from our point of view is where our players picked up a couple of yellow cards for instances that probably shouldn't have been yellow carded, should possibly have been penalised, but that caused us to be a little bit reticent.
Yeah.
Particularly Tyler Adams. Did he pick up an early yellow card? Tyler Adams picked up one really early.
That was Rocker.
Was it Rocker picked one up early? And it affected us in midfield.
Adams didn't get mucked up with
Did he not?
Strauch, Roker, and I think it was Rodrigo. No, James.
Yeah.
So, what's the rating for Strauch?
For me, Strauch, 6.
Yeah, I'd probably give him a 5.
On account of his attacking play, and he's not made for, I think the best central defensive partnership at the club, I've said this right from day one, is Strauch and Koch.
Yeah.
People ask about whether Firpo would start. And my question isn't whether Firpo is better than Strauch. It's whether Firpo is better than Llorente. No, whether Llorente and Strauch is better than Firpo and Strauch, with Strauch played in his preferred position. And I'm not sure he is. I think Firpo will possibly concede a little bit going backwards, but give us the same going forwards. But I think Strauch will more than make up for that in terms of replacing Llorente.
I think Firpo's going to surprise a few people when he comes back. I think he's going to want to get back into that team. So, what are we rating Adams and Roker? I would probably give Roker a 6.5. He made a few good passes.
I think they were poor, both of them.
Made a few fouls. I think Adams wasn't too bad. I don't think Adams was too bad.
No, I don't think. Look, we got. I think sometimes the run of the, when it's going for you, and you're having one of them games where every ball you hit goes to a Leeds player.
Yeah.
Even when you cut the ball out and it goes straight, it goes to a Leeds player.
Yeah.
We didn't have that game on Saturday. We had the game on Saturday where, unfortunately, we just had loose passes and it went wrong, and nobody really hit their stride. And I think that's part of the way that the Graham Potter plays. I think that's also a little bit about the refereeing and the early yellow cards.
Yeah.
The way the referee broke up play, the way that Brighton played the ball over our press and then pressed Llorente was kind of what Leeds would look to do against them. So for me, I think they both probably got a 5, perhaps.
Okay. Right, yeah, fair enough. I'll maybe give Adams a 6 and Adams a 6 and Rocker a 5.5.
Why would you give Adams more than Rocker?
Rocker got booked. He made a few fouls. Adams he knows how to make a challenge but not get booked. I think Adams
That's fair enough. Yeah.
He knows how to just pick someone's pocket, and I think that he's going to be a good player for us.
Just listen to that, right? Just listen to this, yeah, from 14-year-olds. Adams knows how to make a challenge and not get booked. And you know what? That probably, this is my lad, who I'm really proud of. That probably sums up what you get with Adams.
Yeah.
He knows how to make a challenge and not get booked.
Yeah.
And that's stunning.
I think he knows the cut-off point, how hard he can go in, and I think he's going to be a good player. He's definitely a ball winner.
Have you got Adams on your shirt yet, Dan?
So yeah.
Wardrobe comes out. Look. Here we go.
Oh, I've got it in wash.
Oh, he's got it in wash.
I've got it in wash. Hold on.
There he's searching his gym bag now.
Oh, it's somewhere there.
He's been and got Harrison on his away shirt.
It's in wash.
Which is good because I think Harrison's going to have a great season. Send down, lad.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gone and got Harrison on his shirt over the weekend. There we go. That looks good. I think that looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Looking better when we get it signed tomorrow night. Well, not tomorrow night, but when we play Forest.
A couple of weeks.
So yeah, I think what we'll look about up front. So what do you think about Harrison?
I don't think he got enough of the ball, to be fair. I think that didn't see enough of him on the ball.
Yeah, I think with Harrison, again, we've got to compare his performance with that of the Chelsea game. A full firing Harrison falls over, actually on the line and comes up with the ball. And when we talk about how a game is going well for a player, you look at Aaronson, who is just horrible to play against. He always comes up with the ball. And Harrison, when he's playing like that, it comes up smelling of roses. It just didn't pan out for him. I don't think it panned out for him. I don't think the set pieces were particularly good. And it sounds,
especially when I think we put Rodrigo on a free kick.
It sounds from Jesse's press conference like they had a plan and they didn't stick to it.
Yeah.
Which again, one thing I would say with Jesse is he seems to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Again, what do you think about Aaronson?
Aaronson, probably best player on pitch. Give him a 7.5. I think he made an effort. I don't get why he got subbed off. I think the substitutions were quite dodgy. You want Harrison and Aaronson on in the last minutes when you want to get an equaliser, really, don't you?
Yeah, and I think and then we talk about James, who may look. I think there's a small possibility we might be losing James in this transfer window.
I don't think we will, though. I think he'll stay. Fabrizio said that it's up to James if he wants to stay or go. So I don't think he's going to want to leave Leeds to go to Spurs.
Yeah, I do think, if I'm completely honest with you, I think if I think about James, would James be better suited coming on in the 60th minute
70th
with fresh legs,
whatever one's
than starting the game? But I don't think his decision makes particularly good. But I do think as a fresh injection of pace and energy and a fresh set of legs being injected into a pressing side, it could be more useful doing that and having that role. We now miss how Budden, thank you. We now miss how Ayling breaks forward and passes through the lines. I have a feeling, I'm sure he says, I think it's meant to be feeling. I have a feeling him and Aaronson chemistry could be spot on. And yeah, you've probably got a point, but that's yet to be seen. Ayling is somebody to come back. He had a really good first season in the Premiership. I think he very much looks like a Premiership player.
He was getting quarters for an England call up, which is just insane.
Yeah.
So okay. What are we rating? What are we rating Rodrigo and what are we rating Rodrigo? give him a 4. It was poor.
Rodrigo does become a little bit of a scapegoat, but I think, to be honest with you, you've got to take into consideration what we got off him last season, how much we've spent on him, and what his wages are. Because, let's be frank about it, he probably owes us 10 goals. In truth, he probably owes us 10 to 15 goals as a club. People talk about when they buy, like, for example, new UPVC windows and they've had them for 5 years, or they've had them for 20 years. Windows don't owe them out. But in regards to what we've spent on Rodrigo and how much he's played and what he's contributed, he probably does owe us 15 goals. Yeah. So to say people pile on him is based on his lack of form over the last 2 years. In truth, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that it was poor, but I think most of the team were. So most of the players that normally perform were poor. So
yeah, Jack Turner, good call. Aaronson was the only one who had ball retention. Agree with that. Striking Blazer says Aaronson got subbed because he took a knock on his lower back. Better to be safe than sorry, in my opinion. I agree. Let's just get through some of these comments quickly. There's no super chats to go, is there? No. Brighton new Leeds system, and they played a man-for-man press, so they countered us. Second half much better as we played to plan. Agreed. And that's where Jesse Marsch is able to bring the bright out of the players. Tekken Racket, hang on. Let's go that one first. Rodrigo was never going to succeed against Brighton.
Giant defenders. It was going. Yeah, Brighton are very hard man defenders. Obviously, they've got Lewis Dunk, Sonny March. They had Dan Burn. They had, yeah. According to Marsch, Brighton press comments, Cody and Somerville could go out on loan, indicating that Aylin and Rasmussen fighting for right back spot. Although Rasmus
can always play left back as well.
I don't think he can. I genuinely don't think that he would be good at left back if he's this poor at right back every week.
Yeah. So that's
we're doing a shorter live today. Should we just get the
let's have a look at the Everton game. Again, some interesting comments here. Dan, last thing Dan said before we came on was we could get Frank Lampard the sack.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's quite ironic, bearing in mind all the pundits were saying that Jesse Marsch was either first or second favourite to get sack in the sack race.
Yeah.
And now it seems to be who's going to go. And this is the other thing. You go back 10 years ago, and everybody were debating who's better, Frank Lampard or Steven Gerrard. And now they're debating who's worse, Steve Gerrard, Frank Lampard.
So what's the score predictions for the Everton game? Just get them in first.
It has to be 2-0 for me.
I think it's going to be a 3-1.
Yeah.
3-1, come back from 1. Maybe we'll score first, then it'll be 1-1. And we'll score 2 in the second half, as I've said.
I want to be singing Stop Crying Fat Fwank tomorrow night by the end of the game. It will give me great pleasure to see us give them a beating at Ellen Road. I think, to be honest, it's nice that we've got a home game against Everton coming up, because I think for us, having beat Chelsea convincingly and then having gone down to Brighton, which I'll be honest with you, is never going to be an easy game for
Brighton
us.
Away is a tough one.
If we'd have won that Brighton away game, we would have been on. I'd have been like crying Europe now. For me, we've got a steady hand. We've had essentially 7 or 8 changes from what would have been our first team last season. Don't underestimate Everton. They don't concede much yet. But again, I think some of these players are going to play well at Ellen Road because the crowd is a big feature.
I think Rodrigo plays better when he's captain and he's in front of the fans. But my predicted lineup is exactly the same as it was, exactly the same as it has been every week so far. Well, not every week. The last 2 weeks, possibly. I think you take James out for Sinisterra, and that'll be it. I would start Drame, but sadly, I don't think he's going to be doing that.
I'll tell you what's interesting. Jack Turner says solid prediction. We'll get chances. We have to take them. Who was it who put that? Hang on a second. Tekken Raka said, fortunately, Everton's backline is hooky at best.
Yeah, they've got it.
And somebody else has basically said, Striking Blazer says, don't underestimate Everton. They don't concede much. Which is it? Do they concede a lot or are they hooky?
Yeah, I think they've definitely got quite a average back line with Godfrey and Holgate. I think, has Keane gone? I think, correct me if I'm right, but I think Michael Keane's left them. At left back, they've got obviously Vitaly Mikalenko. And then at right back, who have they got at right back? Let me just check who their right back is. I know who it is, but I've forgotten his name.
Right. Okay.
But they have an inconsistent back line, let's just say.
Yeah.
Everton's right back is Seamus Coleman, that's the one. And they have brought in Tarkowski and Connor Cody as well. So they have made signings for their setbacks.
I think I think the starting lineup will be again Sinisterra. This is another question. Do you think Sinisterra did enough in the last game and in the Barnsley game to get a start?
Yes.
So where do you start him?
Where James was, and bring James on as a sub.
But Sinisterra's known for being an inverted winger, a left wing, whereas Harrison plays on the right.
So move Harrison to the right wing maybe, and put Sinisterra on the left, or play Sinisterra on the right and Harrison on the left, and then you've got two crossing wingers where you can cross the ball in for Rod, and you've got Rodrigo loves a goal at the near post. So
I mean, I think in Leeds' first season in the Premier League, I mean, Bielsa seemed to like swapping Rafinha and Harrison over quite a lot. I think that we may end up being in a situation where unfortunately, the best two wingers at the club both start on the left. What's that? What?
Make sure everyone's looking at seeing that comment there.
Likes, people.
Yes,
likes, please, people. Let's like the video. If you've not, there's 100 people in. I don't know how many likes we've got on the video, but I bet it's not 100. So please like the video and obviously make sure you're subscribed. How would a draw tomorrow be so bad? Yes, it would. And I'll tell you for why. Because where we're at as a club now, we should be in a position where we're looking to win our home games.
Yeah.
We should be looking to draw as a minimum result our away games. So if you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be in that top half of the table, you need to be winning your home games.
Yeah.
And you need to be looking not to lose your away games. Now, obviously, if you're playing bottom opposition, an opposition that's not as good as you away, you need to be trying to win those games. And if you're playing against Liverpool, Man City and teams like that, you need to really be expecting that you're not necessarily going to win at home.
Yeah.
That's basically it. So a draw tomorrow would be bad. We need to be winning this game.
Yeah,
really.
we definitely need to win this game. I don't think that a draw is going to do it.
So moving on, what do you want to do now? Do you want to do just predictions? Or do you want to do who's the squad going to be?
I've already gone over that. I think he's going to take James out and put Sinisterra in and possibly give Drame a start, but I don't think he will.
And you think he's going to play Harrison on the left and
Sinisterra on the right?
Perhaps he'll keep Sinisterra on the right and Harrison on the left, and the argument for that would be, okay, Harrison, you didn't have such a good game, let's try you on the right. I think, possibly. Maybe. It's going to be interesting to see.
Riley normally with us, aren't you?
Rodrigo's going to start up front. Are we going to start a striker?
I think it's going to be Brighton, Diaz or Hwang on deadline day. Maybe Shea Adams. So clip that. Everyone just clip this right now. It will be Brent and Diaz, Hwang Hee-chan or Shea Adams on deadline day.
How will you feel if we don't sign a striker?
Gutted.
And what do we feel is the difference? What do you think is going to be the difference between signing a striker and not in terms of where we finish in real terms in the table? If we sign the right striker.
I think it could make or break us. Really, we really need to get a good striker in.
I don't think we're going to go down. I think we're going to be mid-table, possibly top of the bottom half.
I thought what happened to we're going to finish 8th?
I think if we sign a striker, we'll finish.
I don't think Shea Adams is going to be who Marsch wants. Obviously, we've seen with who we've been linked with. Marsch loves the strikers who play across the front line. Yeah,
I agree. Sinisterra has played right side. I think he's played something like about 10 times in his last season or two, and he has scored about 3 goals, or had 3 goal assists, should we say, or three goal contributions.
Yeah.
So he can play on the right, but he does not played a lot on the right. Be interesting looking at Harrison and how much he's played on the right.
Yeah.
But I certainly wouldn't be dropping Sinisterra or Harrison now in favour of James. Difficulty is our 2 best strikers both play on the left. Sorry, our best 2 wingers are the ones we've got play on the left. Going to be interesting to see who he picks, but I certainly think Sinisterra did enough to warrant some pitch time, if not a start against Everton, because I think he potentially does look like he could be our replacement Rafinha. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Harrison's definitely stepping into the shoes of Rafinha. Sinisterra's also gonna be Harrison's really stepped into the shoes of Rafinha, and Sinisterra looks like it could be next.
Yeah. What about any other transfer business? What do you think about Man United's new signing?
Anthony, I think that Sinisterra is clear.
Yeah, Sinister is a lot cheaper as well.
Yeah.
Age-wise, I think Sinister is the younger.
No, Anthony's younger.
Anthony, how old's Anthony?
22, I think.
And the Sinister is 23. Are they not both 22?
No.
No. Okay.
I think Anthony's 21 actually.
Playing in the same league. Playing in the same league. Sinister has had a better return as far as goals.
Playing with worse players.
Playing with worse players. I think Sinister is an absolute steal, and I'm looking forward to see what happens when he finally gets fit, properly fit. And we'll see where he goes from there. If you've not already liked the video, please like it on the way out. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
We will be back after the Everton game, and we'll hopefully be talking about a win. We'll be on cloud 9.
Yeah.
And apart from that, we will speak to you next time. My prediction 2-0. Dan's prediction 3-1. Let's see where we go from there.
We'll
Thanks
see.
for watching.